Have, has, or had. When are we going to use these three little verbs? If you're interested, stay tuned because in our video lesson today, I will be teaching you how and when to use the verbs have, has, and had. Hi everyone, this is Teacher Renz and welcome back to my class. In my channel, I provide free English tutorials for you to improve your speaking and writing skills in English. And if you want to be part of our community, please don't hesitate to click the subscribe button, and you can also hit the notification bell below for you to be updated on our next video lessons. Well, our lesson today is very basic. But somehow, I noticed that a lot of English learners have been making mistakes and are still confused about the usage of have, has, and had. Apparently, you guys are not aware of the rules. The basics are really important, and that's why I made this video lesson just for you. The goal of this class is to help you know how to use the verbs have, has, and had in sentences correctly. And make sure to not miss anything in it because we're going to have a short quiz at the very end of this video. Have, has, and had are main verbs and helping verbs. Now, what are main verbs and helping verbs? Let's know them. Okay, let's take these two sentences. I have a bag. I have bought a bag. Now in the first sentence, I have a bag, how many verbs can you see? We have one, right? Now the verb in this sentence is have, and it's called the main verb. When we say main verb, this term refers to the most important verb in a sentence, the one that typically shows the action or state of being of the subject. And take note, main verbs can stand alone or it can be used with a helping verb. So in our sentence here, the main verb have stands alone. In the second sentence, we have two verbs, right? Have and bought. Now have here is the helping verb and bought is the main verb. When we say helping verb, it is a verb that is used in a verb phrase, meaning with the second verb, and the second verb is called the main verb. This is used to show the tense, to form a question, or to form a negative. Now going back to the sentence, I have bought a bag. So have here helps the verb bought to become a present perfect tense. You know, we have lots of tenses in English, but we will not talk about perfect tenses for now because I think it's a bit complicated for you to understand them. I will just make another video about them. Okay? So when we say main verb, this is the important verb in the sentence. The one that can stand alone or it can be used with a helping verb. And a helping verb helps the main verb to show the tense, to form a question or a negative. So in the first sentence, have is the main verb. And in the second sentence, have here is the helping verb. In our lesson today, we will not use the second sentence, which is the present perfect tense. As what I have told you, perfect tenses for now are quite difficult for you to understand. So we will just focus on have as a main verb in a sentence, as in our example, I have a bag. So again, we will just focus on have as the main verb in a sentence, okay? Now we use have when we're talking about possessions or ownership. It could be something or someone that you own. Like in our example, I have a bag. It means this bag belongs to you or you own this bag. So meaning when you talk about something that you own or something that belongs to you, or it could be somebody as well, we use this verb. Now the past form of have is had. Again, the past form of have is had. But where is has now? Okay, before we use has in a sentence, here is a table to help you remember the rules. Let's take it easy. Now we use have for any plural nouns and pronouns such as I, you, we, and they. When we say plural noun, it is a noun or a form of noun used to show there are more than one. So most nouns add s or es to the end to become plural. For example, oranges, apples, children, notebooks, or pencils, and etc. Let's have these two sentences. Maria and John have 3 children. Now what is the subject in a sentence? Maria and John, right? Now the subject is plural here. It's Maria and John, 2 people, right? Maria and John. And I used the verb have. Another sentence. They have 3 children. I use the pronoun they, and according to the rule, when we have the pronouns I, you, we, and they, then we have to use the verb have. That's why they have 3 children. Now let's move on to the verb has. We use has for any singular nouns and pronouns such as he, she, and it. When we say singular noun, it is a noun refers to one person, a thing, or a place. Some examples are an apple, an orange, my name, Renz, or you can also use the name Jane, John, Jacob. They are singular nouns. Let's have the examples. John has a baby. Now the subject in the sentence is John, which is a singular noun. Therefore, we use the verb has. John has a baby. Another sentence. He has a baby. The subject is he. The verb is has. So our subject here is a singular pronoun, and according to the rule, when we are talking about or when we are using the pronouns he, she, and it, we have to use the verb has. So, he has a baby. Alright? Now let's have the verb had. The past form of have and has is had. So meaning, when we're talking about the present tense, we use have and has. And for the past tense, we use had. Now we use had for all the nouns and pronouns. It doesn't matter if it's singular or plural. So again, the verb had doesn't care if the subject is plural or is singular. Like in our example, Maria and John had a pet last year. So we have the subject Maria and John, which is plural. We use had because when we're talking about past tense. Okay? Another sentence, Maria had a pet last year. Our subject is singular, which is Maria. Still, we have to use the verb had. So the past form of have and has is had. So again, we use have for any plural nouns and pronouns such as I, you, we, and they. We use has for any singular nouns and pronouns such as he, she, and it. So we use these two, the have and has, for the present tense. We use had for the past tense. Had is the past form of have and has. So it doesn't matter if the subject is singular and plural when we use had. Now let's move on to our negatives. The question here is, how can we change a positive sentence to a negative sentence? Let's have our example again. I have a bag. This sentence is a positive sentence. Now our main goal here is to make the sentence a negative one. We can simply make this sentence into a negative sentence by using don't, doesn't, and didn't. But when are we going to use these three? Now we use do and does for the present tense. We use did for the past tense. And we will follow the same rules for have, has, and had. Now let's look at this table. Now we use do for any plural nouns and pronouns such as I, you, we, and they. It's like have. We use does for any singular nouns and pronouns such as he, she, and it. Like has. Now did is the past form of do and does. It doesn't matter if the subject is singular or plural, just like had. So the sentence I have a bag will become I don't have a bag. So I use the verb do here since the subject is I. And according to the rule, if the subject is I, since it's a pronoun, we have to use do, or the verb do. Okay? Now let's have another example. He has a toy. It's a positive sentence. It will become he doesn't have a toy. Now maybe some of you are wondering, why didn't we use the verb has here since our subject is a pronoun he and it's singular? Now the thing we should remember here is that when we use the verbs do, does, and did, it should be followed by the base form of the verb, or it is also called the simple form of the verb. I think you're quite familiar with the base form of the verb since in our primary school, our teacher asked us to familiarize or to memorize the three forms of the verbs, and they are the base form, the past form, and the past participle. So we will have an example. Eat, ate, eaten. Eat is the base form, ate is the past form, and eaten is the past participle. Now the base form of has and had is have. Have, had, had. The base form, have. The past form, had. And the past participle is had. So meaning when we have negative sentences, we can't use has and had. We can only use have. So this sentence is correct. He doesn't have a toy. Now let's have more examples. I don't have a phone. So I use the verb do here since the subject is the pronoun I. Another one. She doesn't have a phone. I use the verb does here since the subject is a singular pronoun, which is she. Another one. They didn't have a phone. So the subject is they, and our verb here, didn't have, so I use did. It's the past form of do and does. Really easy, right? Now let's have the recap. We use have for any plural nouns and pronouns such as I, you, we, and they. For example, I have a bag. We use has for any singular nouns and pronouns such as he, she, and it. For example, she has a bag. Now the past form of have and has is had. For example, she had a pet last year. For the negatives, we use don't, doesn't, and didn't. We use do for any plural nouns and pronouns such as I, you, we, and they. For example, I don't have a bag. We use does for any singular nouns and pronouns such as he, she, and it. He doesn't have a bag. Now, the past form of do and does is did, and it doesn't matter if the subject is singular or plural. For example, they didn't have a bag last year. And we're done for today's class. Let us now have a short quiz. Let's use have, has, and had in sentences. Number 1. If your answer is have, then you're correct. Number 2. If your answer is has, then you're right. Number 3. If your answer is has, then you're correct. Number 4. If your answer is had, then you're right. Number 5. If your answer is have, then you're correct. And number 6. If your answer is have, then you're right.